What up? What up? What up, everybody? It is your girl, your diva of knowledge, Lady Mocha. Definitely want to apologize. I was supposed to start the show actually at 10 o'clock. Unfortunately, I was having some issues with my sound. This may be the subject of the week. We're talking about it. Must be cuffing season. What's up, Black in Japan? Thank you for logging in. What's up, Don Bassolini? What's up, everybody? The show was actually supposed to start at 10 o'clock. Started the show at 10, was getting no sound at all. I was having some issues with Google Hangout, so I had to shut down the original time that I had aired. So I apologize if I inconvenienced anyone. If I told everybody 10 o'clock and I just had technical difficulties, but it's life, and it took me an hour to figure out I had no sound. But now I know for future reference what to do in the event this happens again. But on that note, I got it situated. Of course, that is why y'all can hear me now. 10 o'clock, everybody who logged in could not hear me. I didn't want to proceed with the show unless I knew my sounds was on point, so I had to shut it down and relog back in. So I'm an hour behind on the time that I originally had scheduled. But nevertheless, I want to thank all of you for logging back in. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your understanding. Y'all know how this technology thing is, man. It's not 100% reliable. Things happen. Signal goes out. If it ain't the signal, it's the laptop or whatever you're using. But nevertheless, I'm going to move right ahead because I've been meaning to do this topic for quite some time. So I thought it was very imperative that I did this particular topic for the evening due to the fact that there are so many insecure grown men and grown women. And the sad part about it is, if you're not, if you're lacking in wisdom and if you're lacking in knowledge, you're not going to be able to read in between the lines. It's very imperative that men understand why there's so many insecure women out there, and for the most part women need to understand why there's a lot of insecure dudes out there. Unfortunately, a lot of people have issues, and if you're not wise, you will not read them. You will not be able to read in between the lines. You'll get caught up. You'll get stuck in a relationship that's very sour. You'll get stuck with somebody that's very toxic, get stuck with somebody that's very problematic. So it's very imperative that you know the signs and you know what to look for. So with no further ado, that is what I do. That is how I operate. I'm going to break down all of the elements because y'all know here on my channel, I ride hard for the guys and I ride hard for the ladies. This is a very non-biased channel. I get on everybody here. Okay, so just trust and believe everybody going to get it when it comes to me addressing these issues. Okay, so without any further ado, I want to start off by stating the reason why I decided to do this topic. Now, I've mentioned this before. I think the last video I did was called Keeping Your Pet on a Leash. If you didn't see it or didn't view it already, what's up, Nolan? Appreciate you for coming in. Yeah, for all of you who did not catch my last video I did, the last content I did was called Keeping Your Pet on a Leash. The reason why I did that content was because there was a situation. Some of y'all probably already heard about it. So I may be repeating myself, but I have to tell the story again because everybody did not hear about the story. So if I'm repeating it again, I just got to make sure everybody is on the same key. Hey, Mocha, I'm here to give you a hard way to go. Freelance, that is nothing new. That is what you do best. Aggravate. That is your job, to aggravate me. But I appreciate you for coming in. Thank you for your support. You my boy. You always been my ace boom coon. We go back like bell bottoms and platform shoes. So it's all well and wonderful. But yeah, the reason why I had to do this little content was as I stated, I'm gonna repeat the story. Some people already heard it. There was an issue a couple of weeks ago where this guy that's in the academy with me, um, me and one of the ladies, and him, well, actually me and a female, her name is I'm gonna just call it Kim. Me and Kim was going out to lunch. We had our little lunch break or whatever, and usually Kim, she goes to lunch with Dice. Dice is the dude that I'm referring to, and this particular time she didn't go to lunch with him. She decided to come out to lunch with me, so we kicked it or whatever, you know. And as me and her were kicking it and having lunch together, Dice calls Kim on the phone and says, "Hey, you know, my girlfriend would like to meet you." Now, keep in mind, Dice is a guy in my academy, and he's always, you know, when we all are friends in the academy basically. All of us are friends, all of us are cool, we all go to lunch together, no big deal or whatever. So normally I don't go to lunch with him all the other girls in the academy. I'm a loner. I usually have my lunch by myself or whatever, but this particular time I'm like, okay, no big deal, I'll go ahead and, you know, have lunch with them or whatever. So like I said, normally she and him, they go out and do lunch and stuff, and they just friends. It's nothing um it's nothing sexual, ain't no type of like dealings between the both of them. They just cool like that. So anyway, me and her sitting down having lunch, and Dice decides to call her, and we thinking, okay, maybe he wanted to meet us for lunch, because like I said, normally they always got the lunch. He goes and tells her, my girlfriend wants to meet you. And in the back of her mind, she was like, we both are sitting there puzzled, like, why your girlfriend want to meet, you know, what she want to meet us for? You know what I mean? So, anyway, you know, she didn't think nothing of it. She was like, okay, well, I'm over here with Mocha. You know, we having lunch or whatever. You want to stop by over here? So anyway, we sit down having our hamburgers and fries. This dude comes in with this girl that's built like a Cadillac. And I'm not talking about the new Cadillacs, and I'm not talking about the pretty Cadillacs, Escalades. She came in here built like the first Cadillac that was ever made, like the first Cadillac made in 1989. I don't know nothing about cars, so I don't know when the first Cadillac was made, but she like one of those. Oh, she was built like an old Cadillac, like the first Cadillac that came out. She comes up in there strutting with him like, you know, he's Harpo and she's Sophia from The Color Purple. Okay, so she comes up in there strutting with him, and he's walking behind her like, you know, a helpless little puppy. What's up, Rep? Thank you for coming in. And he's, you know, walking behind her like he's a helpless, defeated puppy, and he's looking, you know, helpless and defeated, and he's following her, and she's walking ahead of him, and she approaches our table, and she goes and she says, which one of y'all is Kim? In the back of my, and I'm like, oh hell, you know what I mean? Because this broad is like, she weighed like a dump truck, you know what I mean? You know, she weighs like a dump truck and a half, and she's charging her way into the restaurant to approach us at the table like a pit bull. So I'm looking at this dude like, wow, man, you know, you got your old lady, you know, you got your girlfriend or whatever, you know, handling you, you know, basically like, you know, she the one who wear the pants, like she the one who got the scrotum sack and you don't. So I'm looking at the situation like, what the hell is going on? So anyway, she goes and says to the girl, yeah, you know, I came up here to talk to you because you've been texting my man, and I don't like the fact that y'all two been interacting with each other a little too much, and blah blah blah. So I'm like looking like, what the hell? You know what I mean? You got your girlfriend, you got your old lady fighting your battles, you know what I mean? And she's going off on this chick who's just friends with him. Like I said, it ain't no sexual, it ain't nothing deep, it ain't been nothing like deep to the situation. But she came up there getting ready to charge, not really charge the girl, but she came up there all confrontational, acting like the typical hood rat who mad because McDonald's getting ready to close or whatever the case is. She came up there like the typical hood rat that she was, and was going off on this chick due to the fact that she thought my friend and her man was kicking it like that, and it wasn't nothing like that. You know what I mean? So basically, you could tell dude was embarrassed. That, you know, she put him on the spot, you know, and embarrassed him in front of the both of us, basically making him look like a chump, making him like a square, you know. And she's telling the other lady, the lady who's friends with him, saying, yeah, I don't like how I don't appreciate been interacting and talking to each other and hanging out with each other. That's what my friend says. With all due respect, if you got a problem with your man, you need to take that up with him. I don't know what you confronting me for. I'm married. I'm good. I'm chilling. I don't know what your problem is. Me and him, we just friends. We all here at the academy. We all go to lunch together. So, I mean, if you got a problem, you need to address that with him. She goes and says, well, yeah, I addressed it with him. And that's why I'm telling you, because I know he's a liar and he's this and he's that. So anyway, the story is lame. I don't want to go all into it. But basically, after she called herself going off on my friend, and my friend was of course upset, when somebody approach you out the blue and want to check you about their man, and you ain't even looking at a dude like that. Of course she was hot and bothered. She wanted to deck the broad in her mouth. I'm like, nah, don't do that. We're in the academy. You don't want to lose your career over some hood rat broad. Don't take it there. You know what I mean? Just let him go ahead and have it. That's his problem. That's not your problem. That's his problem. So anyway, so we still in the restaurant. She outside chewing dude out in the parking lot, going off on him some more, saying all kind of things to him. Like I said, making him like a chump, making him feel less of a man and stuff. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, you know what? If you know you were an insecure woman, why do you have female friends? I mean, I do not understand that. I mean, guys, to all the guys in the chat room, if you know you got an insecure woman, why would you have a female friend? Knowing that you basically are with a pit bull that you really can't keep on a leash. And that goes for anybody. Same thing for women. If you know you with a man that's very insecure and very jealous, why would you have male friends? This is how people get killed. This is how people get caught up in situations they had nothing to do with. If you know you got a very insecure or paranoid wife or a paranoid husband, you got a jealous girlfriend, you got a jealous boyfriend, you do not need to have the opposite sex in your company, because you get other people caught up in your mess. You know what I'm saying? You got a hood rat broad who don't care who she confront, um will get in another woman's face who she think wants some, has having some type of dealings with you. Do you not realize what kind of chaos you bring into another person that has nothing to do with your situation? And that was the only part I was pissed off with him about. I'm like, dude, you know what I mean? You with a pit bull. So why is you out here having lunch with me and these other girls, these other females, who are just friends with you? We ain't trying to be with you. Half us married, we're in relationships, but this hood rat broad of his, she automatically assumed, you know what I'm saying, that just any female that was in his presence was dealing with him, and she automatically came at the female, and I thought that was, very small of her. But this is the reason I'm doing the content, because I really kind of analyzed the situation from a distance, and I realized the reason why she was giving dude such a hard time. And this is why I'm doing this content, because it's a lot of you men out there that are stuck in half miserable toxic relationships with women that are very miserable, with women that are making you very miserable. And that's because you're dealing with a woman that has a lot of insecurities. Rep says, I can't do it, but then again, you have to set the tone from the beginning. I agree, Rep. This is what happens. This is what happens when the way you start people. This is what you end up with. You start people off on the wrong foot. You get people used to handling you and disrespecting you, challenging your manhood, challenging your womanhood, challenging you as a person. This is what ends up happening. You create a monster. So basically, the dude is 22. This broad is 29. Now, like I stated, I stepped back and I analyzed the situation, and I realized the reason why this girl was such a pit bull when it came to this dude, and the reason why she went confronting my female friend, thinking my female friend was dealing with him like that. And I just kind of analyzed it. Once he schooled me about the situation, first of all, he's 22, she's 29. Okay. He's not a bad looking guy. He's trying to do something, trying to make something of himself. He's in the police academy along with the rest of us. So he's trying to, make himself, prepare himself a career. This broad, on the other hand, 29, got 2 kids from 2 different baby daddies, and in the looks department, she's definitely a major uh default. Like, 'cause I'm a woman, and my eyes is different from the eyes of a man, but from what I saw, she was not the cat's meow at all. She was not that attractive, and it wasn't because she's a big girl. You got some big women that are very well together, that are very pretty and very sophisticated and very classy. So I wasn't knocking her because she's a big girl, but the fact that you have the audacity to you already big, but then you big, and you a pit bull, you a big pit bull on top of that. I'm like, wow, dude, you sure know how to pick them. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Jermar? Thank you for coming in. So I'm looking at the situation. I'm like, no wonder she's so insecure, because she has a lot of baggage. So if you're in a relationship, guys, with a female that's really insecure, realize if you pick up a female that has a lot of baggage, 9 times out of 10 she's going to be a woman with a lot of insecurities. And what I mean by baggage is the fact, if she has a lot of children and she has a lot of different baby daddies, she has a lot of responsibilities, she got a lot of burdens, and you don't have any burdens, and you don't have any issue, and you don't have the type of baggage that she got, and you a dude that kind of got yourself well together, and you don't have no baggage, she's automatically going to be insecure. And the reason for that is because she knows that you have no ties to her. And I saw from the moment when I saw this pit bull, you know, going at this other female about her man, I looked at her and I'm like, I see why you insecure, because you don't have what it takes you really don't have nothing to stand on to make this man be with you. If this dude ever really got to the point to where he wanted to say, I'm out, I don't want to deal with this, I'd rather move on, I don't want to deal with these headaches, she pretty much she don't have any options. Whenever you deal with a one female that got a lot of baggage, she knows she doesn't have any options, especially if she has different baby daddies, more than one child, and she's a single mom. Now, I'm not saying, if this does not apply, you don't have to reply. I'm not saying all single mothers are troublesome. Okay, you got some women who don't have no children, and they got just as much drama in their life as single mothers. But the truth of the matter is, whenever you're dealing with a woman that has a lot of baggage, and you're willing to be in a relationship with her, you're willing to try to take things to the next level, you are setting yourself up to be put in a very chaotic situation. Because basically, once I saw how this female was handling him, I had to pull this young man aside and said, what's the problem? Why are you with this broad and you tolerating, all of this disrespect? She come up here embarrassing you in front of your colleagues, all these females we working with you. She coming up here going to embarrass you and shame you in front of all of your colleagues and make you look like less than a man. So he kind of explains to me, and I get it. He's 22, he's young. He ain't been out there to really know what to kind of look for. You know what I mean? You could tell he a simple dude. He's simple. He not too bright. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. He's not the brightest bulb in the chandelier. He's a young dude. He's a young cat. And I did this hood rat. She definitely um was 20 times smarter than him. And I mean that in a conniving way, for the simple fact that you got a lot of hood rats. They know what to look for. They know what to look for. And if you the kind of dude, you simple, you easily be manipulated, especially with what a woman has to offer between her legs. If you the type of dude, you easy to be manipulated by the booty. Them type of females, they could scope, because you're dealing with a pit bull. Like I stated, a pit bull has a strong sense of smell. So a pit bull can smell a vulnerable dude. A pit bull can smell a dude that's easy, that's simple, that can easily get got. Yeah, he's trying to become, yeah, he's trying to become a cop right now, Rep. He's definitely, yeah, he's in process of doing that right now. Yeah. So basically that, he got himself a pit bull. And the reason she a pit bull is because she got baggage. And like I said, you deal with a female that got baggage, she's going to be insecure because especially if y'all don't have any children together, she has nothing to hold you down. She can't hold you hostage to her situation. Then that's going to make her insecure because she has nothing to hang over your head. And that's what's going on with this young man. This young man, he has no children from her. She's the one that got two different baby daddies, and she is, basically running him, placing all type of stipulations on him. He's not allowed to go here, he's not allowed to go there. And a lot of that has to do with baggage. Whenever you got a woman that has a lot, dealing with a female that got a lot of baggage, she's going to automatically be insecure because she knows you are not obligated. You don't have to deal. If it ever becomes a, if it ever gets to the point to where you don't want to deal with it, she knows that you have that option. And that's the sad part. So, note to men, if you're dealing with a woman who has a lot of responsibilities and a lot of baggage, and that baggage was already there basically before you even got with this broad, before you even started catching feelings for this broad, keep in mind you're going to be dealing with a woman that's going to be very insecure on a lot of levels. And it's gotten to the point to where she's become so insecure. I told this young man, I said, look, you don't have no kids from this broad. She got two kids, two different baby daddies. He told me he was basically staying with her because he's in an academy right now. And it's just more convenient for him to, deal with the bull, you know what I mean, until he, gets certified, which is in the next 4 or 5 weeks or whatever. So I mean, I get it. Sometimes you got to put up with bullshit, to get to the next place, to get to the next level. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But like I told him, I said, you better be very careful because you got to realize she got two different baby daddies. You a young guy, you in an academy, you about to move to bigger, you moving on to bigger and better things. Mark my words, she's gonna try to trap you. I told him this. How about when I told him this, I said, dude, uh, yeah, dark forest, yeah, that has a, I'm certain of that. At the same time, though, you got to keep in mind he's 22 years old. He's 22, she's 29. Now, come on, y'all know these experienced hood rats. They know how to put it on the brother. Unless you a guy, you smart and you mature, you been around enough hood rats to know what to look for. But when you young and dumb and full of cum, you don't know what to look for. A hood rat can turn an inexperienced dude out. She knows what to do in the bedroom. She knows how to make him feel like king of the jungle. You basically, like I guess the appropriate word to say he's kind of a simp in a sense. And basically you can just tell, she's very aggressive. You got some women, you got some hood rat caliber, low caliber type of females that are, like I stated, they have a pit bull mentality. They very possessive. The moment they feel like you're trying to pull away from them, the moment they feel like you're trying to leave them, they start growling. They start trying to bite you, like a real pit bull. Once she's insecure woman is threatened that you could leave her, and knowing that y'all don't have no kids together, she has nothing to tie you in or whatever. That's going to make her more possessive. That's going to make her more of a pit bull. And I told this young man, I said, you better be careful because next she's going to try to get pregnant from you. He was like, how did you know that? Wow, how did you know that? Because that's exactly what's going on. How about the other night I was on top of her and I tried to pull out? She gonna push me deeper into her. I was like, what? Are you freaking serious, dude? Yeah, man, I tried to blah 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 pull out, and she gonna try to pull me, man, to her. I said, bro, bro, you gonna get got, man. I'm telling you, dude is gonna get got. He don't understand. He's with an experienced hood rat, bro. When you dealing with them type of females like that, they very conniving. They very malicious, man. That broad is gonna, I'm telling you. If he 9 times out of 10 he's 22 and he's staying with her, I know he ain't using no protection. He ain't hardly using no protection. He gonna mess around and get that broad pregnant. And I'm gonna tell you, evil heifers are very easy to impregnate. Freelance says she had the baby rabies. For sure. Well, she's act like his mama. A lot of these men don't know how to deal with women due to like a men in their life. Yeah, black in Japan. I'm not sure the history with his parents, but something definitely went left somewhere for him to be taking all the nonsense he's taking off of her. It's something in the buttermilk ain't clean. Yeah, so no, he has control of his life. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, Dark Force. I definitely can't co-sign with him on that. He basically stated he's dealing with her until he gets out the academy. He's basically just using her for a place to stay. I guess because he stays too far and it'd be too much for him. And I get it. I mean, if you trying to use her to get to where you going, but the problem is he laying with this broad. And I know he ain't using no protection. So what's going to happen is by the time he really decides to break away from her, it's going to be too late. Because there's no way you're not gonna note to men, you're not gonna move in with a fertile woman. If you move in with a woman, female who you know is fertile, she got more kids than the damn village people. And you move into her crib and you think you just gonna screw this broad and label her and use her to take advantage of her. No, eventually, somewhere you're going to get comfortable and she's going to catch you off guard. And next thing you notice, this broad is coming to you with a pregnancy test saying, I'm pregnant. Because that's what happens when a woman gets to that level of desperation, especially these insecure women, which I have to understand is desperate women take desperate people take desperate measures. Okay, and especially women, what's starting to happen is a lot of women are starting to feel defeated. A lot of women are starting to feel like um they don't have many choices, especially those who done already contaminated themselves by having all of these baby daddies, by screwing every Tom, Dick, and Daryl in the neighborhood, especially these females who have contaminated themselves to the point to where everybody knows their name, everybody knows their face. They have more mileages on them than a 1978 Volvo. These type of women now, guys, you have to be careful because now these women have reached a new low, and they're willing to do whatever they have to do, no matter how low or malicious or low down it is. Women have gotten a lot of the, I won't say women because I'm using the wrong word, because a woman's not going to carry herself in this manner. What's starting to happen is these hood rats or these pit bulls or whatever, what's starting to happen is they are becoming more scandalous by the day. And if you're a man that's easy to be manipulated by sex, you're easy to be manipulated because of a woman's big ass or big tits or whatever you feel like she has. If you are still uh, 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 quick to fall prey to a woman's physical attributes versus her intelligence or her class, you will get caught up with these type of females. But by the time you realize it's too late, you're going to find yourself stuck, because these type of females, they wait for you to slip, they wait for you to get comfortable with them. And the moment you get comfortable, and that's usually what happens, especially if you screwing her, if y'all been screwing each other for a long time, you know somewhere somebody gonna get comfortable. At some point you're gonna stop wearing condoms. At some point condom gonna bust. At some point she may even go so far as to poking holes in condoms. Basically, the more you keep screwing a woman who you don't want, eventually she's going to catch you. She's going to catch you slipping. She's going to catch you. And that's why you have a lot of men to this day that can't understand how the hell they got caught up with a certain type of female. They're still trying to figure out, how did I end up with this broad? How I end up having kids from this girl broad? How I ended up getting stuck with her? Because what happens is, anytime you deal with a woman that's easy and will let you hit it as much as you want, and will give in to you as much as you want, what's going to happen is you're going to become so comfortable with being able to lay her, even though you don't want her, even though you don't see her as a wife, even though you don't see her as somebody to have a future with. But what happens is, when you know she's easy and you can lay her practically anytime you want to lay her, and you ain't even got to buy this broad a chicken box and a 50-cent soda to lay her, but you can get it anytime you want. What's going to happen is eventually you're going to get comfortable. You're going to get comfortable. You're going to mess up. You're going to slip up. You're going to get caught up. And next thing you notice, you got a chick knocked up who you never even wanted like that. It happens all the time. I've seen guys, man, I ain't never even cared for her. I ain't even loved her like that. It had nothing to do with the fact that you cared or you didn't. The problem is when you lay with the same broad too long, eventually something is going to happen. Somebody is going to slip. You're not going to cross all your T's. You're not going to dot all your I's. It's as simple as that. You lay the same hood rat too long, she's going to catch you. She's going to catch you. I mean, let a sister know. I mean, I'm telling you, there's a lot of brothers out there who done got caught up in the game and they don't understand. They do not understand. You got too comfortable. You laid the same hood rat for too long. Exactly, Dark Forest. Sex organs gets a lot of us in trouble. Exactly. That's why you have to be the type of person. You can't be a man that's easy to be manipulated into sex. Because if you're the type of dude or you could be manipulated into sex or whatever, you're gonna 9 times out of 10, men who still are drawn to the kitty cat. If you're still drawn to that, if you're still weak for that, if that's still a weakness that you have, unfortunately, it's going to come back to bite you in the worst way possible. It's a lot of brothers that's suffering for it now, and they cannot understand how they got caught up. And I'm telling you how you get caught up. You get caught up when you lay the hood rat, same hood rat for a long, too many times, too long. What's up, Sadia? What? Thank you for coming in, boo. Appreciate you. What's up, Darnell? Thank you for coming in. Dark Force, we have to stop saying men are not mature until certain ages. It's simple decision making. We are always excused stupidity. I agree with that. Definitely, that's why, when I speak mature, definitely I'm speaking mentality wise, not so much age wise, but the truth of the matter is when you are young, you are dumb. You are. And if you don't have any type of real male influence or a motherly influence, you're going to get caught up and fall prey to somebody that's more experienced than you, and it just happens. Let me see. I made mistakes, but I don't have kids. Yeah, well, Dark Force, you are blessed because not many brothers get to tell that story. That's why I'm breaking down all of the elements as far as to because I know a lot of men wonder, and I'm also like I said, I'm gonna speak on the men as well for the ladies too. But that's part of the reasons that you're dealing with some women out here with a lot of insecurities. For one, she has a lot of baggage, as I stated before. Uh, Other reasons is you have some women, they're very insecure because of their upbringing, the way they were raised, the environment that they came up in. Um, if she never had a father, if she never had a man in her life to make her feel special, to make her feel valuable, the first dude that she runs into in the streets that shines his gold teeth at her, she's gonna gravitate towards that because she's not used to getting attention. She's not, if she had a father, had she had a man in her life that made her feel valuable, made her feel important, she wouldn't be she wouldn't gravitate towards attention from men so much if she already had a father that was giving her that. You have a lot of women, guys, unfortunately, that are very insecure because they grew up in households. Majority of them grew up in single parent households. It was just their mom, and if they had a mother, especially if she was a mother that was not a real mother, that didn't nurture her, didn't teach her how to be a woman, didn't teach her how to have her own self-confidence. What happens is when a woman is not taught as a little girl to have her own self-confidence, she will step out here into the world and look for it from other people. If it wasn't already put into her when she was a little girl, she's gonna go out there and look for it. And unfortunately, that's where a lot of women fall prey to insecurities because they didn't have a man in their life that told them you beautiful, you don't, They didn't have their father to tell them you're beautiful. They didn't have a father to tell them you're valuable. They didn't have a father to tell them, make sure if any man that comes in your life, he has to appreciate you, he has to value. A lot of women are screwed up today because they just have had no father figures, and not only that, the women who raised them, they didn't know anything. It's a lot of insecure women that are in a lot of pain, and unfortunately going through a lot in life because they didn't have a real woman in life that was a real mother that taught them anything. Unfortunately, a lot of women are screwed today just based on the type of women who raised them. So sometimes you have to look into the history of the women that you're dating and figure out what kind of relationship she has with her family. Has her father been in her life? Has her mom been in her life? Okay, let's say her mom been in her life, but what kind of woman is her mother? Is her did the woman who raised her, was she a hood rat back in her day too? I mean, a hood rat gonna produce a hood rat. I mean, a lot of these women, they off the chain just based on the type of women who raised them, who didn't teach them nothing. You can learn a lot about a woman based on the woman who produced her. You can. You go to a cookout, you meet a mama, you go to a family event, you meet a mama, you see her mama, 70, 80 years old and wearing Daisy Dukes, and I mean titties hanging down to her knees, and she walking around in a cane and still trying to switch and still trying to get it. I mean, that already lets you know, what type of woman who raised her. You got to look at the woman who raised her. That tells you, that speaks volumes. What's up, Zero? Thank you for coming in. What's up, Nolan? Appreciate you. Is it possible to help a person? Okay. Overcome their insecurities. I will go into the factors of that, Nolan. Dealing with a person who has insecurities, in a sense, Nolan, it's almost like trying to rehabilitate a crackhead, meaning that it's going to be a lot of work, because insecurity, that's a mental thing. You feel me? That's not that's something that's mental work, and you cannot go into the brain of another human being and restructure their way of thinking. That's going to be a very hard battle to overcome. That's not something that you can't help a person find insecure. You can't help a person find security. That's something that they would have to find within themselves. That because that, like I stated, that's a mental thing. That's a mental thing. If I'm an insecure woman, Nolan, I'm insecure and I got issues. You can sit up here all day and tell me I'm attractive, I'm pretty, I love you, I'm this, I'm that. But if I am mentally damaged, there's not enough of validation you can give me to make me overcome my insecurities. I hope I broke that down for you in a sense to where you can understand that. No, Dylan, you cannot help a man or woman overcome insecurities. Helping a man or woman overcome their securities is like trying to rehabilitate a crackhead. It could be done, but you're gonna have to be very patient, extremely patient, extremely. And that's a lot of work. Now you do have some people that are built to deal with certain things. You know what I mean? So everybody's not equipped to deal with certain people on certain levels. You have to know how to pick your battles. I came into my relationship with a lot of insecurities. And just so happened I had a very patient husband who understood, and he supported me, and it took years. I'm talking about years of supporting me and standing by me to help me overcome that. But at the same time, he could not do it by himself. I had to also help myself. I could not get him to help me. I had to help myself. And a lot of times as women, sometimes we look for you men to make us whole, when the reality is, and we don't make ourselves whole. If I come to you as a half woman and I look for you to bring me half so I can feel whole, then the moment you disappoint me, then I'm back to being half again. You don't want a person coming to you that's already half. You want them coming to you whole. because once they get used to having you there to balance them, to help them hold. The moment you're in a situation and you can't contribute that, then they're back to feeling like they're half again. Now you're back to dealing with all the insecurities again. So it's either way, it's definitely a gamble dealing with somebody that has a lot of insecurities. um I'm well, Zero. Thanks for asking. Uh yeah, I'm putting it out there, Black. But yeah, that's the main thing. If you dealing with a woman that has insecurities, that's the first factor. Well, that's the second factor. The first factor, I told y'all, she has a lot of baggage. The second factor is her upbringing. Now this is the third reason that you may be dealing with a woman that has a lot of insecurities. She's been cheated on before. She's been cheated on before. What's up, EE? How you doing, love? Thank you for coming in. I know I'm late, but I did come to participate. Very true statement. True statement, freelance. Um, Freelance says in Eastern philosophy, we call it borrowing strength from others. It's something that is discouraged. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. You basically sum that up. Yes, we're always borrowing strength from one another, when really you shouldn't have to borrow strength. You both should be building one another. When it's to the point, and it's kind of like it's good, but then it's bad. It's good in the sense of both of you are compatible. Now, if both of you are compatible and you both um are driven to make your relationship work, then building strength from one another is not actually a hazardous thing, because both of y'all are on the same level and y'all both are in the same agreements. But when you have two people that are already uncompatible and y'all already have a power struggle and y'all got to borrow strength from between each other, it can be very confrontational. So it all depends, but yeah, you have to be careful who you borrow and who you exchange your strength with, because some people will drain you. Some people will mentally and physically and spiritually drain you to the point to where you don't have nothing left for yourself, because you don't put so much into them. You have nothing left for you. So but yeah, very good point, freelance. Yeah, as I stated before, if you're dealing with a woman with insecurities, it's because she's been cheated on before. You have to realize, 9 times out of 10, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you're entering into a relationship with somebody, if you are a woman who's entering into a relationship with a man, if you are a man who's entering into a new relationship with a woman, keep in mind that everybody is bringing something with them that they have not completely left behind. And it's just the God's honest truth. Yep, Cornell, father issues. What's up, Seven? Appreciate you for coming in. Good to see you. Know it's been a while. We need to try to get up again and do some more content. But yeah. But when you're dealing, you got to keep in mind, whenever you dealing with a man or a woman who's been in a relationship, and nine times out of 10 you are. You're gonna whenever you meet someone, they're gonna have some type of baggage from the last relationship. And I'm not talking about baggage as far as just children and kids. I'm talking about, you're gonna meet a man or a woman that has emotional baggage, spiritual baggage, because something somewhere went wrong in that previous relationship. And that stuff does not erase just because you get in a new relationship. It doesn't. It doesn't. Especially if you've been in a relationship where somebody has burnt you, betrayed you, um, used you. You don't erase that pain and act like it never happened. It is one of those things that will continue to keep following you. So some women insecure because they've been cheated on before. And we have to realize, whenever a woman has experienced being cheated on before, it definitely corrodes her self-esteem. When a woman has been cheated on before, whether it's been her husband, whether it's been her boyfriend, if it was somebody she sincerely loved and he cheated on her before, that can bring a lot of insecurities to a woman, because she's going to automatically feel like, what was wrong with me? What was it I didn't have to where he had to step outside of outside of our relationship and get it from somewhere else. You have a lot of women, if you're out there and you're in a dating game, if you're dealing with a woman who's been cheated on before, she's going to have insecurities. And that negative experience, she's going to take that with her in every relationship. She's not going to erase it. And so you have to make sure, guys, if you get in a relationship with a woman, and this is why it's important that you get to know the person you're dating. You find out their history. Have you been in a relationship before? What was the last relationship? I mean, simple kindergarten questions that grown people should know to be asking each other by now. So you know what the hell you signing up for before you start catching feelings for somebody, before you get in too deep. Have you been in a relationship? What was the last relationship? What happened? Why things didn't work out? You need to find that out. If she tells you, well, he cheated on me, or I caught him messing with my best friend, or whatever, she's going to be a woman with insecurities. She's going, and then you wonder why. See, people don't ask questions like this, and then you wonder why when you done been with this broad for a minute. You wonder, now in the back of your mind, you thinking she crazy because every time you leave the house and you telling her you just going to 7-Eleven to get a Slurpee, she counting the mileages on the car. No, you didn't go to 7-Eleven and get no Slurpee. The car says where you went out was 7 miles away. 7-Eleven is only 3 miles away. So where else did you go after that? You wonder why to you this broad is crazy. She's bipolar, she's this, she's that. No, you're dealing with a very insecure woman. Did you sit down and ask her about what kind of men she been with? Did you sit down and ask her what was her last relationship like? Why things did not work out? Because believe me, women will spill their guts. If you act concerned and you act like you're one of those men, you really want to know what she's going through. Oh well, how well? What kind of man? Well, if you ask her something as simple as, uh, you can ask her something like, well, I really, you can say something as simple as, well, I really like you. I really think you're a woman I could potentially see myself with, but I really want to know as far as what type of guys you had in the past. Was they good to you? Did they treat you well? Because I want to make sure I don't make the same mistakes those guys made. I tell you, if you say that, she gonna spill all her guts, because in the back of her mind, wow, he's concerned. He wants to know about what other men did to me in the past, so he won't do it to me too. Oh, she's gonna spill all her guts, because some women can't hold water. They love to spill all their emotional guts. So if you really want to find out how damaged the woman is, act like you're trying to be that man that won't damage her. So she will feel comfortable enough to tell you everything. And once she has spilled all her guts, you have to make a decision at you have to make a decision at that point in time, brother man, and say, oh no, I can't deal with this woman. She's gonna be too much work. She's damaged goods. You need to get in a woman's head instead of trying to get her in your bed. Oh, that's a good one there. I got to write that down. Yeah, you got to learn to get into a woman's head instead of trying to get her in your bed. Okay? You need to get in her head. Find out mentally how damaged this broad is because sex has a way of clouding your judgment. It does. Sex will cloud your judgment. But especially if the person, you get so sexually involved with a person, you'll forget to ask the important questions. You'll forget to ask, do you have mental illness in your family? I bet y'all won't. I bet nobody in this chat room has asked anybody that. Do you have mental illness in your family? No, because you don't care about stuff like that. You trying to do like BBD. You looking at the big butt and the smile. That's all you concerned about. And you wonder why you got you a psycho, because you didn't ask no questions. You just looked at her physical attributes. And just because somebody look good, that don't mean they ain't crazy. Hell, sometimes the ones that really look good really is crazy. When you just focusing on somebody's physical attributes, exactly, EE. When you focusing on somebody's physical attributes, it is what it is. You get more than what you bargained for. But if you're dealing with a woman who has been hurt, who has been hurt and been betrayed, and the last man cheated on her, she's gonna have a lot of insecurity issues. Now, are you willing to be that man, to be the cleanup man, to clean up all that emotional baggage the last dude left? I mean, I get it. I mean, I'm sure the majority of these men in this chat room will say, "Oh hell no! Once I find out she's been damaged and she's been used, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want no parts of her." Well, at the end of the day, um, keep in mind, I don't care what woman you deal with, she's going to have some type of baggage. But the thing is, you got to find out what type of baggage she got so you can decide if you're willing to deal with that. Because you're not going to get around dealing with baggage. I'm going to tell you that right now. Just some people got more baggage than others, but regardless, people coming with baggage. Um, these women, yeah, freelance says better find out if these women are on meds. Most of them are on it more than you realize. Yeah. Freelance, you got a point. A lot of you brothers, y'all not checking these bras medicine cabinets. Y'all too busy trying to hurry up and get to the booty. Y'all not checking, y'all not doing y'all duty. Stop focusing on the booty and do your duty and start checking they damn medicine cabinets. And make sure they ain't on no Prozac. I'm cutting up tonight. Don't mind me. It's just the wine. But yeah, that's the other point, I want to make. If she's been cheated on, you're dealing with a woman that's damaged, you definitely better be very careful with that. Um, oh, don't worry, EE. I got the men coming too. You know I'ma get them. I'ma get them. I'ma get them. I'm just doing the women right now. Now I am not shutting down this channel without going in on these brothers. Now I don't operate like that. You've been coming to my channel for a long time, or I'm gonna get them. Just be on standby. Press the pause button on that tape deck. Believe me, I'm gonna get all of them. I'm just telling them about the women now. Oh, the brothers, they know how I operate. Uh, like I stated before, for anybody who's coming in, yeah, like I stated before, anytime you're dealing with a woman who has a lot of baggage, she's gonna be insecure. You're dealing with a woman who has a bunch of kids, bunch of different baby daddies. I'm only repeating this point because some people are just coming in for those who missed it. Anytime you're dealing with a woman that has a lot of responsibilities, she's going to be insecure because she knows that you are not tied to her burdens. You are not tied to her responsibilities. So she's going to always be insecure, because she knows her choices are limited, especially if you are a guy that has a good job, you got good credentials, you got a lot going for yourself. Um, she's going to be insecure automatically. You're going to be a threat to her automatically because she knows that um you have more choices. You don't have to deal with women on her caliber. You could actually get a woman that has more than she has to offer, and she knows that. So whenever you dealing with a woman with a bunch of baggage, absolutely. Yeah, but yeah. Oh yeah, no, yeah, definitely, Nolan. I totally agree with that. Yeah, I'm just splitting them up. I'm just doing all the women right now, and then I'm gonna do the men. But yeah, absolutely, men have been cheated on too. Being cheated on is not just something women go through, because I know men who have definitely gone through it a lot. So I definitely being cheated on. That's not a one gender thing. That is something that men and women both experience. The other thing is another reason why I'm gonna give y'all three more reasons for why women are insecure, and then I'm gonna go in on the men, and I'm gonna go in on the men and school my sisters out here as to why some of these brothers are insecure. So y'all turn getting ready to come in a few minutes, okay? But back to the women. Another reason why some women are insecure is because of what she did in her youth. Doesn't work as a grown woman. Now let me go into the elements of that. What I mean is, you have a lot of grown women out here who have done a lot of rotten things during their youth. You've had a lot. There's a lot of grown women during their youth who have been very promiscuous, um, who have spoiled themselves at such a young age to where, um, now that they're grown women, reality has came back to bite them. A lot of women are insecure is because of stuff they did when they were younger. Now that they're older, they no longer have that benefit to do that. They no longer have that luxury. Now, to give you an example for all of you to marinate where I'm coming from, meaning that if she was a promiscuous young woman at the age of 15, 16, if she's always been the type of female, she's never had real confidence in herself, so she felt like the only way she could be noticed to get attention is by sleeping with this guy, sleeping with that guy, basically being a freak of the neighborhood. Now that she's older, she's washed out. She don't have that same body she had during her youth. She got probably like 8, 9 kids by now, probably 2, 3 grandkids on top of the 8, 9 kids. She's washed up. Basically, her insecurities stem from the fact that she made a lot of poor decisions during her youth. And now that she's a grown woman, unfortunately, she's stuck with those decisions she's made. And it's unfortunate that's why it's very important for anybody out there. If you got a young woman in your life that you're mentoring, if you have a daughter, if you have a niece, if you have, a young woman who's who you have some type of influence over, it's very important that we school these young women out here, because they're going to go through the same exact, they're going to repeat that same cycle. It's very important as parents, if you are father, if you are mother, if you have a daughter, it's very imperative that you school these young women right now, because if you do not school them at at this tender age of 15, 16, 17, Rep says she washed up like some 85 Wrangler jeans. Rep, come on now. I just had my wine. I really can't. Oh goodness, yeah. But you right, Rep. Absolutely. It's very imperative. She realizes now. She's in her 40s. She 45, maybe she 50, she 60. You can't do what you used to do during your youth. Let me get my charge up this thing. Okay, yep, I'm back. I had to plug my charger into my laptop. Um, but as I was stating, yes, you have a lot of grown women out here who are paying the price for things they did during their youth. They're old, they're washed out, they age. You can see all the history in their face. It just catches up with you. And a lot of grown women today have a lot of insecurities behind that, because what they used to use during their youth, they can't use that no more. You can't use your body no more. You don't have that same body. You can't use that same promiscuous behavior anymore. You just, it does not suit you for where the stage you're in, where the stage you're in life right now, because you're older. So it's not going to work. What you used to be able to get away with at 16, 17, you're not going to be able to get away with that at 42, 43, 44, 45. Life just catches up with you. You age, we get older, things change. It's just not going to work no more. It is what it is. Them old lady don't want to hang it up though. They flooding. Yeah, absolutely freelance. Now a lot of them not gonna let it go now. Of course, I agree. And a lot of that freelance is just that, and it don't matter how much they still don't want to hang it up. The bottom line is they know it, even if they never show it. They know that, they're not the same young women they used to be anymore. You can't get past the wrinkles. You can't get past the dimples and cottage cheese on the thighs. Things that used to point north, they now pointing south. I mean, It don't matter how much they try to dress young. The older you get, and these younger women coming up behind you, it's a reality that it's a harsh reality check that you just ain't got it like that no more. They cannot compete with these younger women out here. You know, you didn't live right. You didn't do the right. You didn't live right in your teens and your middle 20s. You didn't make good in your decision. You didn't go to college. You didn't try to start a business. You didn't do nothing productive with your life. You know, it comes back to haunt you. But yeah, freelance, they be everywhere. They be in the club. They be still trying to dress young, and it still don't work. You still old. It don't matter if they try to put on high heels like these young girls and wear these short skirts like these young females. I mean, they got scoliosis and arthritis. It's not gonna work. You can't do what these young women could do. You don't have your time. Your time is over. You didn't make good with your youth when you had it, and it's just done. Um, Nextly is another reason why she's a woman. Some women insecure is they lack confidence. Just because a woman is attractive, that does not mean she has confidence. I will repeat that again. Just because a woman is attractive, that does not mean she has confidence. You cannot figure because she dresses nice, she has the nicest, latest bags and the latest red bottom shoes. Underneath all that Louis Vuitton shoes and Mac makeup could still be is still a woman with a lot of insecurities and and low self-esteem. And you can again you it's not just the ugly females or the unattractive females. Matter of fact, I seen more unattractive female. I done seen more Shrek looking heifers got more confidence than these women who are very attractive women. You know, so you can be attractive, but that don't mean you have confidence. You know, so again, that's another reason. Okay. And basically, this is the last reason for females that are so insecure. She has nothing going for herself. Guys, whenever you meet a woman that's not doing anything with her life, meaning she's not ambitious, she's not working, she's not going to school, she's not going to church. I mean, just something positive. Ain't got to be nothing extravagant. As long as she's not doing nothing with her life, she's going to stay insecure because she has all the room in the world to keep up with what the hell you doing. Okay, whenever you got a woman who can call you all day, where you at, what you doing? I thought you said you was going to be here 7 o'clock at 7:05. If a woman got that much time on your hands, evidently that means she's not doing nothing in her life. You do not want to deal with a woman who has nothing going for herself. I don't care if she has a hobby of just, planting her own garden. Whatever you woman do, whatever female you deal with, make sure she has some type of goals. She has something going for herself other than keeping up with you and where you going and what you doing. You don't want to deal with a woman who has nothing going for herself because that means she has a lot of time on her hands to make your life miserable. Okay, so guys, I broke down all of the elements to y'all. I told y'all the things to look for when it comes to dealing with insecure women. I told you women who have baggage have insecurities, women who lack a solid family foundation, like a father in a home, if she's been cheated on before, what she did in her youth, she can no longer apply as a grown woman, and she lacks confidence, and she has nothing going for herself. Um, oh yeah, and the other thing I thought I would mention too is that anytime you're dealing with a woman who has been in a lot of negative relationships from her past, she's definitely going to have insecurities. But that pretty much falls under the same line of um one of the elements that I mentioned in y'all earlier. Yeah, being cheated on. It's basically within the same line of. Now it's time for me to get on you dudes because I told y'all turn was coming. Y'all know I'm not gonna shut this operation down without getting on you guys. So let's talk about these insecure men because yes, some of you brothers out here, a lot of you brothers out here, y'all got y'all insecurities too. Okay, even though y'all try to act like y'all don't, y'all got y'all insecurities too. That's why y'all got to buy these fancy cars to make yourself look relevant. That's why some of y'all got to go on these platforms and dog other women and degrade other women to make yourself to look good and to stroke your own ego. Yes, some of you brothers, y'all, hey, y'all got y'all insecurities too. But We're gonna go into that right now. We're gonna talk about um what makes these men insecure. Starting with number one. Um, whenever you're these are signs of to all of the women out here about the signs to look for when you what's the wine? I'm just so tongue twisted, y'all. Yeah, y'all know I'm gonna get y'all rep. Y'all know y'all gonna get it. Y'all know how I do here. I ride the women and I ride the men. Now it's time for me to get you guys. Okay, so let's talk about these insecure men. Start with number one. When he has to be physically and emotionally abusive to keep his woman in check. Now, I know we're in a very egotistical world, and I get that you guys um don't have the best of choices and the type of women that are out here today. I know that y'all don't have a whole variety to pick from, and because of that, society has already programmed y'all to make y'all believe that you have to keep your woman in check. I hear it all the time. I've had guys ask me, how do I keep my woman in check? I've heard guys in the barber shop talk to other men. Yeah, man, you need to keep your woman in check, man. You need no woman to be running you, man. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be the man of the house. You know what I mean? You got this broad running you and telling you what to do. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, you need to pull your skirt down, man. You letting this broad up here run you, you know what I'm saying? So I know that's how men have a way of coaching other men that he's less than a man. Y'all have a way of ego stroking each other. And what I mean by that is y'all will make y'all make each other feel as if like you're less than a man if you don't have your woman in check. If you got to have your woman in check. If you're not a real man if you don't have your woman in check. Let me go ahead and clarify on uh basically, as I stated, uh has to be physically and emotionally abusive. What basically, whenever it gets to the point as a man, if you have to get to the point to where you got to beat a woman to get her to do what you want her to do, then you don't have no control. If anything, you're out of control. It should never. Yeah, I be ill hustling rep. You think I don't? How I'm gonna give y'all this wonderful content if I don't ear hustle? If I knew what barbershop you was going to rep, I would go over there to ear hustle. Freelance. Hey, we're just reporting the news. Yeah, you know how I do, freelance. It's y'all turn. I done looked out for y'all. Now I gotta look out for the ladies. But uh that it should never if you have to beat a woman to get her to do what you want her to do, you're not running things because it should never have to escalate to that point. You should be able to run your house, run your relationship without having to resort to the level of having to punch, smack, beat on a woman to have to be able to regulate. If you're getting to that point somewhere, if you're to that point where you have to physically put your hands, then you don't have no control. You don't have any. You've lost all control when it comes to the point of where you got to do that to keep a woman in check. So they say men don't talk freely around women in the barbershop. Yeah, no, they don't. But then you got some of them, they don't care if a woman standing there. They gonna say whatever. But yeah, men, they don't. Yeah, just a couple of times, I stop by in there and hear them talk little stuff. I got the ear hustle and stuff like that. But yeah, whenever you have to get to that point, you're basically not a man because I mean, I know when my husband means business, and he ain't got to put his hands on me for me to know when he means business. It's just the way that he talks to me, is his tone of voice. I know when he means business. I know when he's um um I don't want to say disciplining me, but I know when I've crossed a certain line. And it does not take him to have to put his hands on me to know when I crossed that line. Like Pastor T.D. Jakes said, if it ever comes to the point where you got to go home and scream to the top of your lungs, I'm the man of this house, then you're not the man of the house. Because if you're the man of the house, people are going to know it the moment you come in. I don't care if the kids been hanging from the chandelier, if the cat and the dog been running all over the house, they going to know the moment you step foot. Everybody going to act the way they supposed to act because they know daddy home, daddy means business. It should never get to the point, guys. You should get to the point, guys, where a woman is taking you out your character, to where you got to cuss, scream, drag her, beat her to get her to do what you need her to do. It should never get to that point. And realize a lot of it has to do with insecurities. Um, some men feel the need to be physically and emotionally abusive because that is the only tools they have to make them feel like they have leverage, to make them feel like they have power. Men who normally are very physically and emotionally abusive, to me, underneath all of that abuse, to me, is just a little boy that's still crying inside for love and attention. That's the way I see it. Whenever I see a grown man cussing and physically putting his hands on a woman, I feel like the way he feels about himself is how he's going to feel about that woman. I strongly believe that when a man beats on a woman, is really his way of wanting to beat on himself. But he's not going to beat on himself, so it's easy to beat her. I think a lot of it comes from displaced anger. They're angry because they still got issues from their childhood. They still really don't feel adequate, they still really don't feel whole, they really don't feel fulfilled. Whenever you have a man that has to be physically and emotionally abusive, to me it is still a little boy inside that man that's crying out for attention. And until he gets real spiritual healing, or he gets some real psychological um counseling, is going to continue to eat him up like cancer. If you are a man and you feel like the only way you can be heard, the only way you can feel loved, the only way you can feel like you're in control is by putting your hands on a woman, then it grieves my spirit, because uh, you're not understanding that it comes a point in life, you're getting older. You're getting older. You don't want to have to live your last days on this earth knowing you made another woman's life so miserable. And in your last days, you cannot leave here in peace knowing you have mentally and physically and verbally tormented somebody's daughter. Because at the end of the day, guys, whenever you physically fight a woman, or you physically put your hands on her, or you emotionally or verbally saying all kinds of stuff to her, you have to realize that is somebody's daughter. That's somebody's daughter. And a lot of times, sometimes you create your own karma. For all of you men out here who got daughters, be careful how you treat women out here, because you got a daughter. And it's going to be a knucklehead just like you. And it's going to, the bad part is, he's going to be worse than you ever were. So you have to be careful for the kind of karma you create. Whenever you have children, you have to be very careful. And this goes for men and women. Be careful how you treat people when you are a parent, because I promise you, karma will come back on your kids. If it don't come back to you, it will come back on your children. I've seen some men who did it. I've seen a man who was a straight hell raiser with this woman for years. Straight hell raiser. And do you not realize that his daughter turned around and married a man just like him? And coincidentally, him and his son-in-law, they do not get along. And the reason they don't get along is because they both so much alike. But the bad part is, his son-in-law knows all of his history and knows all of what his wife mother went through with him. So guess what? He can't even defend his daughter and say, you don't need to talk to my daughter like that. You don't need to treat my daughter like that. Your son-in-law will not don't respect you because he sees how you treated your wife. Because as wives, we confide in our husbands. We tell our husbands things. So a lot of y'all who got daughters out there, keep in mind that your daughters are going to go back and tell her husband, this is how my daddy treated us. This is how my daddy so and so. And some men, some of these young guys, they play off of that. If they know your daughter come from a emotional abusive relationship, they will pick up where you left off. They're not going to sympathize and say, well, you know what, baby, since your daddy took you through that, I'm going to be a better man. I'm not going to take you through that. You have some of these men who will come up in your family. You do not want to create karma. You will find into your own you. You will find yourself running into you all over again. See, it's cute and funny when you're doing it, but it's not funny when another man is taking your daughter through it. You have to realize you create your own karma sometimes. And that's the same thing for you women out there who got sons. The way you treat your men, the way you treat your baby daddy, or the stuff you take men through, don't worry. It's gonna be another woman out there that's gonna give your son the same amount of misery and hell that you gave somebody else's son. And that's just how it is. And we all get our karma. Let me tell you something. Karma is a debt that everybody gonna have to pay. Do you feel? We all got that debt. Karma is a debt that everybody gonna pay. You gonna pay that debt before you leave here. So you got to be very careful, especially when you have children. Be careful how you treat other people, because you got to remember the people that you treat, like how old they are, they're somebody else's kids too now. You mistreated somebody's son, you mistreated somebody's daughter. I've seen women who sit up here and take men through hell, and as soon as another girl, female dude to their son, they want to kill a girl. How she do my son like that? My son. Well, hold on now. You took somebody else's son through hell. Oh, did we forget? How soon we forget? And the same thing with you men. You know what the crazy part is? I've known some men who used to beat and fight their wives and girlfriends or whatever. And as soon as they find out some young man beating on their daughter, they want to go down there and beat the man down. Nah, no, no. Let her deal with that ass whipping like the one woman who ass you was whipping had to deal with it. See, it's not funny when it happens to your own. It's never cute then. It's not we don't see nothing wrong when we're doing it to other people. And sometimes because we don't see nothing wrong with it, God will allow your children to endure what you took other people through. Because sometimes we don't see it until it's happening to somebody we love. You know, we don't see nothing wrong with it until it happens to somebody who we love. So again, be careful if you got kids out there, because it'll come, karma is going to come back, and ain't nothing you're going to be able to say, because you're going to have to live with the karma you created. Okay, so anyway, back to why some men are insecure. The other reason is men are insecure is he fears another man getting close to her that's going to manipulate her like he did. Now I notice a lot of guys who are abusive, um verbally and physically and mentally, a lot of them are very insecure because they are so afraid that the same way they was able to manipulate the woman they're with, they're so afraid that another man is going to come along and manipulate that woman the same way he did. See, you have some men, they want to be the only ones that have that advantage in manipulating a woman, but the where to being the extra possessive and being extra manipulative, all that comes from the fact that if I manipulated her and I took advantage of her, I know another man is going to do it. So that's where a lot of men have insecurities. Um, Exactly, Rep. Yep, you can't play karma away. You can't. You can't. It's coming. You is going to be. You're going to pay that debt. I promise you, you will. But yeah, you have some men. I've seen some men who've been very jealous, very possessive, don't want their wife, girlfriend going nowhere, doing anything, and all of that. And the crazy part is some of these women are so psychologically screwed up. Some of them think it's cute when a husband or their boyfriend is jealous. Some women, they are enthusiastic about it. It turns them on, like, oh wow, my husband is jealous. Oh, my boyfriend is jealous. He's so worried about next man getting me or whatever. It's not so much that. He's not jealous. He's not worried. He's not jealous in the sense of like, you know, he's such a, you know what I mean, his jealousy basically, it's more so It's not so much jealousy, it's more so he fears that another man is going to manipulate you like he did. He wants to be the only one to manipulate you. What's up, TR808? Thank you for coming in. You have some men that are very jealous and possessive, not because they really want you or are so scared a man gonna take you from them. They just don't want another man having the advantage of manipulating you as a woman like they did. That's what a lot of it has to do with. I've had girlfriends. Oh, he's so jealous and he's so worried about this and thinking this guy was talking to me. I'm like, he's not. Do you understand? He's not jealous in a sense of worrying about, um 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 you leaving him, because he already knows you're not going to leave him. What it is he knows that you're stupid, and being that you were stupid for him, he fears that you may be stupid for someone else. So he has to protect you from stupidity. That's why he's so possessive and jealous. He don't want another man getting in your head like he got in your head. He want to be the only one to have that advantage to do that. So for a lot of the women out here who's thinking it's cute, oh, my man is so jealous. He don't like when guys be talking to me. He don't care about that. He just don't want another dude getting in your head like he got in your head. This is what thing is. She was stupid for me. She'll be stupid for anybody. So keep that in mind. They want them Texas for next year, rest for summer. For sure, EE. Yep, you do. You got some Ike Turners out there. You do. And you got some teen, you got some animes. Gonna try to make it look right, gonna try to excuse it, gonna try to make it look cute. Girl, he's so jealous. He's not jealous. He just know you stupid. So you were stupid for him. He know you're gonna be stupid for somebody else. But she likes the one I okay, freelance. Um, this is another reason. A lot of some men are insecure. If it does not apply, you don't have to reply. This is not saying all men are this way, just the insecure men. He wants to keep her inflated so she becomes confined. Now, you believe it or not, you got some dudes that still pulling this crap. You got some dudes, they want to keep a woman pregnant every year because that's his way of keeping her at bay. You have some insecure men, they will do that. Just like you have some women who love to keep getting impregnated. That way they feel like the more kids they have from a man, the less chances that man is going to be able to walk away and leave them. Same thing. You got some men who act like that. You got some men, they would rather you be barefoot, these especially the insecure man. I'm talking about the insecure man, not all men, just the insecure one. The insecure man, he would rather keep her inflated every year. That way he ain't got to worry about her going nowhere. Feels like, well, as long as she keep having my kids, as long as I keep getting her pregnant every year, I keep giving her a bunch of children, ain't nobody gonna want her. You have some men that do it. You have some men, they will get a woman pregnant every year, keep giving her babies. If she ain't smart enough to put herself on birth control, or because he got so much control over her to the point he controls her womb, if she want to get birth control, he tell her, no, you ain't getting no birth control. You my woman, you my wife, blah blah blah. And if she has no control, yeah, you have some men, they like to keep getting a woman pregnant every year, because what happens is the more babies, and I hate to say this and I don't mean it in a negative way, because I don't want none of the women out here who are mothers to think I'm knocking them. But what a lot of women have to realize is sometimes the more children we have, it depreciates our value. And I don't mean that in a negative way, like you're less than a woman. I'm talking about in a sense of the more children you have, the less men that are going to want to deal with you. You got 8, 9, 10 children. No man is not going to want to deal with you. And you have some of these very insecure, manipulative men out here who know that. They will keep you pregnant every year just so they can make sure you can't leave. Of course, EE. Now you know Rep loves to play. Freelance says I call them territory markers. They're the aim ones complaining about child support. Yep, absolutely, absolutely. And them kind, they won't leave. They'll just stay and make them miserable. They'll make a woman too scared to leave them. Usually, when a woman puts herself in a position where she start having three, four, five kids from a man, the chances of her leaving is slim to none, because she's not going to want to deprive her children of that, being that they all got the same dad, or especially if he's like a provider or whatever. So she'll just stay stuck and miserable because she got too many kids to move on. She knows, I had a girlfriend like that, a very abusive husband, but she couldn't afford to leave him. She had too many kids from him. And she knew no man was going to come into her life with her four or five children. It wasn't happening. Every man is not going to pick up where the last dude left off. And I mean, I understand. Sometimes it's like that. But you got some men that struggle from insecurities. They will do that. They would love to keep the woman they're with pregnant every year just so she can't leave him. Um, Another way you some men are insecure is if they don't want the woman they're with to better themselves unless it's to their advantage. Now I think every man should want a woman to better herself, because if you got a woman that's bettering herself, it's going to be an advantage for you in the long run. You don't want a woman that's mediocre. You don't want to get a woman. You don't want to get a woman that you can control and make sit in the house and get barefoot and pregnant. You want a woman that's going to be a team player, that's going to have your back, um, that's gonna be a support system, that's gonna help pay the bills, help hold it down. You don't you do yourself a disservice, guys, when you don't want your woman to better herself. You don't want her to go to school. You got some men so possessive and so controlling. They don't want the woman to work, don't want her to go to school, don't want her to do nothing that's going to be a blessing to all of them in the long run. Because you don't want her working because you worried about if she work, there's going to be men on the job that's going to try to hit on her. You don't want her going to school like that movie called The Burning Bed with Farrah Fawcett. God bless her soul, but that was a very good movie. This woman was trying to better herself from her hellish husband, and no matter how much she did to try to better herself, I mean, she called herself going to school. He got mad and ripped all the papers out her school book. I mean, just was being a beast. Um, Thing is, to note the guys, you don't want a woman that's weak. Don't. Let me see what that says. Is the alternative like I did? Yes. Y'all ain't a tax return. Like, Rep talking about tax return. Lord help him. Rep is a hot mess. So everybody in this chat room, please keep Rep in prayer. That's all we can do for Rep. All we can do is keep him in prayer. He's family. What can I do? That's like, you can't get rid of family. All I can do is just support him and love him anyway. I mean, that's all I can do with that. Yeah, Burning Moon. Yeah, you got some men that really like that. They don't want a woman to better herself. Don't not realizing you don't want guys. You don't want a woman that's okay with not having. You don't want that because it's gonna be a burden on you. You fall short, you fall sick, something happens, you lose your career, you lose your job, you end up paralyzed, and you the only thing the woman you with knows is to do what you say do. Now, when if it comes a point you need her to have her own mind, she's not going to know how to use her own mind because you was the one who always ran everything. You want a woman that's going to be of help to you, that's going to be of benefit to you. You don't want one that's going to be a burden, can't help herself, can't help you. And every man who's ever done it, he has paid the price for it. Because there come a point when you're gonna need her to step up. You're gonna need her to woman up. She don't know how to woman up because you're doing everything. You want to handle it all. You want to be large and in charge all the time. I mean, you got to be careful putting yourself in that position. You get more than you can handle. Um, let's see. And he doesn't himself. Yeah, so be careful with being so controlling to the point to where you don't want your woman better herself. You get sick, you fall short, um, lose your job, you get fired, you get sick, you get paralyzed. This woman don't know nothing but to only do what you say do. That's sad because you get in a situation you can't speak, you can't talk. You're not in a position to handle nothing. she's going to be lost in the sauce, and everybody else in the family gonna have to help her because she's not gonna know what to do. God forbid something happen, you die and leave this world, and the only thing this woman knows is to do what you say do. Now that it's time for her to think for herself. She don't know how to think for herself, so be very careful with that. And this is the last thing about men who are very insecure. A lot of them are some men are insecure because they know they have nothing to offer. Therefore, they are threatened by other men. When you have a man that's a bum ass dude, he's not working, or let's say he is working, but he really has nothing to show for. Um, he's not really where he needs to be as a man. And I don't mean being millionaire. I don't mean, have the best of everything. Just handle your business, have your steady job, maintain, do your part around the house, be the leader, be the provider, be what God called you to be. Unfortunately, if you're a man who lacks in those areas, you're going to always be threatened by other men. Because if you know your worth and you know you are a provider, you're not going to have to watch over your woman's back. You're not going to have to check on her like you're her probation officer. Where you at? What you doing? When you know you a man, you are of value. You got goals, you got careers, you got a decent job, you handling your business. That's your value right there. And if she can't see that, and if she can't see that, the hell with her. Now, same as a saying goes with you women, um, you don't want a guy that's a zero, because the moment, ladies, if you were to do that's a zero, and you want to try to better yourself, you want to get to the next level, he's going to say all kind of stuff to make you feel bad about wanting to be something bigger, because he's not doing nothing. Think about it, it's common sense. How can I support you to do better when I'm not doing better? How can I support you to get to another level when I'm still on the same level? It is based on common sense. You cannot look for people to support you when they are not where they need to be in life. So, ladies, just keep in mind that anytime you're dealing with a man that's a zero, he's a bum, he's not working, he's not contributing, he's not doing anything to better himself, he's not going to support you when you want to better yourself. I cannot give you something I don't have for me. Okay, so those are the elements, ladies, for men who are insecure. Uh, Let me rephrase on that. He's physically and mentally abusive to try to keep you in check. He fears another man getting close to you that may manipulate you like he did. He wants to keep you pregnant, inflated. He doesn't want you to better yourself. He has nothing to offer, which makes him jealous of other men that come near you. Um, and keep in mind, and this is another big advantage for a lot of the women out here. You may be dealing with a man who's still being breastfed. You got some men who've been mama's boys for so long. They basically been on their mama titty for so long. They don't know how to be a real man to a real woman because they've been a mama's boy. So be cautious of them ones too. So anyway, I have broke down all of the elements, ladies and gentlemen, for what makes women insecure and what makes men insecure. So I made sure I provided you guys with what makes women insecure. Make sure y'all pay attention to those elements so you don't get caught up with a chaotic broad that's gonna make your life miserable for the rest of your days. Take this information, it's very valuable. Same thing for you ladies. I broke it down for y'all. I told y'all about the different types of insecure men. Take this information, apply it. Share it. You may have a girlfriend, you may have a homeboy, somebody's going through the struggle. Knowledge is free. Never be afraid to share knowledge. You know what I mean? So make sure you share it to somebody who may be of great benefit. I thank all of you for the positive feedback, the positive energy. It has been rough. I'm still in the academy. It's been taking a lot of time and energy and effort and everything. So that's why I can only do these videos in the spirit of the moment sometimes. So I appreciate all of y'all for still being so loyal to my channel and being so supportive. I'm almost 4,000 in subscribers. So I'm very grateful. I'm very appreciative. I thank all of you for coming in and rocking out with me. And as I stated, I don't see y'all as subscribers. I see y'all as family. Okay, so on that note, I want to thank all of y'all for tuning in, rocking out with me, your girl Lady Mocha. 7, don't forget to email me so we can try to do another video soon. I thank you, EE. I thank you, Rep. Um, Freelance, of course. You know, I appreciate you. Let me see, Mel Wolf. Make sure I don't miss nobody. Black Black in Japan. I think Sadia. Wake the hell up 7. Cornell 0. Dark Force Nolan. Don Barcelona. Donnell. Let me see. I don't think I was anybody else. If I missed anyone, I want to thank you for stopping by, supporting me, rocking with me. This is your girl, Lady Mocha. And again, I thank all of y'all who have been rocking it out with me. I thank all my day ones who supported me from the start of this channel. I thank all of my new subscribers. Welcome to the family. All of you who just viewed my live chat tonight, you are more than welcome to subscribe and join the family so you can be up on knowledge and wisdom. You know, I kick the actual, the factual, but at the same token, we always have a good time here and we all a family. Remember, whenever you come to Mocha's Cafe de Paris Live, I'm gonna treat you like you family because you are. So again, I want to thank all of y'all. I appreciate y'all. It's been wonderful. It is your girl, Lady Mocha, and I am signing off. And remember, I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth and break you off with a slice of knowledge. Y'all have a wonderful one. Take care. See y'all soon. Love you guys. Love you ladies. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.